If you have a dream, but you have been feeling fear, stuck, and just finding yourself not taking action, today's guest is going to help you turn that around because he's a former NFL athlete, international speaker, and identity shift coach. He went from having an extremely challenging childhood, having basically all odds against him to become successful in life, but managed to master this thing that he calls dark work, which is the unsexy, unseen, hard work that you do in the dark that ends up creating massive transformation in your life. And I applied it in my own life. And as you're about to find out, it ended up paying off big time for the career goals that I had set for myself. His name is Anthony Trucks. And in today's podcast episode, he breaks down how we can shift our self-identity, do the hard work, and show up as the best version of ourselves so that we can create our dream life. Let's dive in. Anthony Trucks, I am so grateful that you are here on my Challenge Your Norm podcast today. And I am so excited to share your story and this idea of dark work with the audience and for me to hear it again. But I just want to first share how I got to know you and how your work has impacted me. Because last year on October 1st, I went to Growth Day LA and I watched you speak.
Yep.
And you spoke about dark work.
I did.
And I went home and I wrote a dark work declaration like you had spoken about on stage. And I went in. And one of my missions is to impact millions of people live a better life. And during the following 3 months, I 10x'd the people who I was able to communicate with and impact. And I believe that your speech and this work that you're doing played such a massive impact in that. So I just want to say thank you. And I also am hoping that for the listener, they really open up their ears because their life could change if they take in what you're about to share with us all.
I would fully agree. It's it's all there. I mean, we'll unpack more of it for sure, but I'm thankful you shared that with me and you did something because as you know, everybody else, they can get a lot of information, but not everybody acts on the information. So the actual taking action is the biggest piece. So well done.
Your words made me want to do it also because your story is extremely inspiring. Your life wasn't in the beginning. You didn't just get out of the womb and then you were this motivational, incredible speaker living the dream life. You had a challenging start, and I would love for you to share with us all maybe a little bit about that, how your life started.
I mean, like everybody, we have ups and downs. I think the thing about life is you become the strong, solid person through the hardships you face. We all know that. But I think there's one of two ways to go through it. And usually there's going to be a stage I call it on demand or when crap hits the fan. And usually it's going to be when crap hits the fan for most of us. We snap into action, find a way to push forward. But I think that those who are the most successful, they do it on demand. They choose to subject themselves to stuff. But doesn't mean that it's always in a position of choice. For me as a kid, I didn't have choice. It was crap at the fan. I was given away at 3 years old to foster care because my biological mom didn't want me or her, rest of her kids. I went through a big kind of like just transition from having a base of feeling like I mattered to not mattering at all to anybody. I was beaten, starved, tortured, a lot of craziness. And then ended up into a household, which is my current household, sixth house after I think 3 years bouncing around. And I'm the only black person in an all white family. We grew up really poor, didn't have much. We had love. And I had to navigate, who am I? Where do I fit? What's possible for my life? And as you'd imagine, when you haven't had much positivity, you haven't had much optimistic possibility, you don't have this wiring that goes, you can do anything. In fact, it's the opposite. And for all of us, there's this life happening that is wiring us without us paying attention to it. Subconsciously, it's TV, news, school, movies, radio. It's all these different things that are feeding our brain and our mind this wiring of what's possible, especially people around us too. And then what happens is you live your life on that track without ever questioning it. It's your identity now. You don't even question it. It's just what you are. And you'll say like, this is just who I am. And I go, yeah, but you could be different. If you grew up somewhere different, would you be different? Well, yeah. Well, then you can change that. And so for me, I went through this journey of not being really good at sports and wanting to try a sports thing and tried it out and sucked. And then I ended up like having this window of time, which was really the catalyst of the whole idea of dark work. But there's this window of time where I go, I've hit this wall of everything. Like I don't like who I am. I don't like where my life is heading. I'm adopted by this family, but I don't feel like I have self-worth. My adoptive mom's diagnosed with MS. I don't have anything that makes me feel like I matter. And so I can go off in the realm of statistics, which most foster kids, most people don't know, but if you go to any prison in America, 75% of the inmates are former foster kids. Half the homeless population. I think less than 1% of us graduate from college. So statistically, I'm not set up to do well. And everybody in life has these same numbers attached to them. You don't have to have gone through foster care to have statistics that set you in a bad path. But if you let the wiring and the pathway take hold, you'll go in a direction that's not going to be great. You'll wake up one day, 35, 40, 50 years old going, what happened? And for me, thankfully, I had a moment that woke me up. Which was two girls talking, and one girl says to the other girl, well, the reason I'm so bad is because I'm in foster care. And now she didn't know my story. She didn't even know I was listening to her, but it really had me like go internal and go, dang, like, is that how I want to have my life be lived? This foster care thing, or maybe it's, oh, my parents got divorced, or maybe it's, oh, I lost my job, or maybe it's my business failed, or maybe it's I got sick, or I lost some money, or my friend betrayed me. Like there's all these little reasons that we will latch onto and go, that's a valid excuse to be less than. And in my opinion, it's never a valid excuse. And so I just at 15, thankfully go, I don't like that. And I went home and I made this kind of personal commitment to myself by looking at my pupils at 15 and said, Anthony, you're going to be great. And I had this different connection to what I was going to push myself to do. And this is where I was introduced to dark work. Without knowing it, it was just this thought of, all right, well, I don't like where I'm at. I don't like where I'm headed. I want to go do what these guys are doing, but I don't identify with any of the actions. And identity is a big thing for me. I think that the core piece of our humanity is who you are at a core level, behind the scenes at an identity level. And so for me, I had this internal discussion of like, I don't do these things. Never have. I'm not that kind of guy, but that's what people who have what I want do. I got to identify with the actions. So I started doing them. And at first it's uncomfortable. No one praises you. They make fun of you. You know, everybody ridicules you because it's different than what you're used to doing, even though it's in a positive direction. They poke and they make fun. So I had teammates make fun of me because I was skinny and slow. And we have that. Someone wants to be a podcaster. What do you know about podcasting, right? I want to get in shape. What do you know about getting in shape? I want to start a business. What do you know about starting a business, right? And it's just these little jabs that you don't think they're bad, but they will hunker down and they'll stick to your ribs and they'll weigh you down in your dreams. And so for me, I kept moving because I realized, yes, that's going to be the truth. I don't have those skills, but if I keep doing it, maybe. Like if I just stay in the pathway. So I kept doing it for the first month. And in the first month, I had no, I guess, proof that I could be great, right? It just was just there. I started the whole process without proof I would be great. I was like, let me just give great effort, see what happens. Wasn't good. Second month still wasn't good. Third month got a little better. Not much, but still like 3 months of something. Most people go, this is enough. Like I'm doing this for 3 months, nothing's breaking through, right? Then month 4, start getting to a groove. Month 5, I'm actually getting a little bit better. I can catch a football better. I'm going to route a little bit better. I'm a little bit stronger, you know. By month 6, I got people, my teammates going, hey, Trucks, man, can I get a workout with you? And the interesting thing was it was behind the scenes, what I call the dark. There's no celebration. There's nobody clapping for me but me. There is no proof it's going to be positive. And honestly, it's arduous. And it's really this thing that every day you do not get up going, I can't wait to do it. In fact, you got to push yourself to do it. You have to battle your own mind that goes, why are you doing this? It's so tiring. You're not getting the outcome. Like I don't see the pathway. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. And you're battling your own brain, other people telling you the same thing. And it's just like, you have to almost be crazy to go out there and do it. But I kept doing it. And then showed up the next year of football, 7 months of off-season training. And I had a different itch inside. And here's what I call it. I call it a dominator was in me. It doesn't mean that I was this completely different, person, but I had a core of me. I had this mentality, which was this I could show up and grit it out and grind it out because you don't deserve to win. And what I say, it's a mentality of I've done too much work in the dark to lose in the light. It's my rep. It's my tackle. It's my ball. It's mine. I'd already paid for this and you didn't do that work. It was more of I deserved this, but it was only there because of the work I'd done to build into it. But here's the crazy thing. When you have this dominator's identity that goes, I can do this. Like I have the ability. I've gritted it out. I've grinded it out. I deserve. I've given too much to fail. That person shows up differently in defining moments. And in that defining moment, I was like, I could be more. And I did. I started catching more footballs and making more plays, and I was better on the football field. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy, overnight success. Yeah. Over the last 7 months, nights, like just nonstop building. And what you do is you've not only trained other people on who you are, but you've actually trained yourself on who you now become. So that dark work is something I learned at 15, but it's shown up in my professional football career, my college career, my parenting, my marriage now, my businesses. And it's really just the ability to go back and fall in love with the sexiness of the grime. It's like, how do you, like, I absolutely love, like, I hate and love. Every morning I get up in the morning and I don't have to be up. This morning, my kids are on spring break. I don't have a boss. I'm up at 6:30. And that's actually like a little bit later than normal. And my wife's like, why are you doing it? I said, just who I am. I got to get up at 6:30. I got to get my workout in, my mobility in, the sauna in. I would love to sit in my warm bed with my wife and do my thing, right? But there's something where, like, when I've done that, I feel untouchable. I've done the thing that keeps me in line with who I see myself to be. You can't stop me. And so even if I do have those days where I go, gosh, nothing seems to be working out, I get to a grind and I go, remember who you are. And that's something that you got to build in day by day. And so these are things that people look at and go, these guys are special. These girls are special. No, they're just committed. They've been at this for a while. You have complete accessibility to all of this, just like you. You have accessibility, but only if you commit to doing things day to day, digging in, the dark work, and you don't do it for applause. You don't do it for celebration. You don't do it for anybody else. You just do it for you. And at the end of the day, when you did that hard thing, you look at yourself and go, hell yeah. And you can step into the next stage of life and more doors open up for you than you can even imagine.
That's incredible. I do remember after listening to you speak, now I'm reliving it again of this, you're doing it to shift your self-identity, to build this new version of yourself. For the person like who right now has a bit of a dream that they want to go for, but their voice that says, I'm not good enough, I can't, is stronger than this, I'm just going to try and go for it. And the fear is so strong and powerful. In that moment when you were like, I'm just going to go train, I'm just going to go do this thing. What makes you like do it when the fear and the doubt is stronger?
Well, it's not that you do it. Here's the thing. You're not going to do it with a sense of, I think people go like, you have to believe in yourself. Like, nah, there's no proof. What makes me think I could get a college football scholarship as the sucky, skinny kid I was? Nothing. But I do know this. There's a guarantee that if I do nothing, I get nothing more than I have. That's what you get. You get this guarantee that if you change nothing, the path that you're on will continue the same. You'll get more of what you already have. But here's what I can guarantee. The odds increase. That's it. The odds increase. And the odds increase the longer you stay at it. And so, yes, you should right now go like, I don't have it in me. No, you don't. You've not done anything to give yourself proof. Now, here's the thing. Everybody who has it started in the exact same place, but they just increase their odds, taking a step every day. So you don't identify with the outcome, you identify with the effort. So my thing was, I'm the guy that's going to throw the football in the air 500 times a day. Today, I'm the guy that's going to do my 20-minute sit, squat, hold to open my hips up. I'm the guy that's going to stay on my 2,500 calorie diet. I'm the guy that's going to get my workout in. I'm the guy that's going to show up for my kids. That's what I'm going to do today. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Today's where I focus my energy. Now, I've stacked years of these days, so it's much better. But when I first started out, like I had a window where I divorced my wife. I was not in a good place in my life just 9 years ago. And I legit was not a solid guy that I look at and love, right? But the idea is like I knew that there was more to my life, and I'd already done it before where I go, I have to step into this place that I don't quite see the outcome. I recently heard, this is great. It's a biblical principle, but it talks about this idea that God has this, the thought for your life. Your creator has this place he wants to take you. And the way you know is because he gave you a dream. She gave you a dream, whatever you want to call it, right? I'm a man of faith. I believe there's a God and a male, right? There's a dream there. So that the dream is there and it's put in your head and it's visualized and it's clear. But here's not what's shown to you, the path to get there. Because if you really knew the path, you would not chase the dream.
Yes.
It's just going to be too difficult. There's just no way. And so I go, at the end of the day, our job is to go, I have the idea, I have the dream, let me just move. And what you do is if you think of all the stacked up days to get there, you're going to be like, that's just too much. I'm out. But if you get into it, it's like, gosh, I've already gone 50 steps. There's another 6, 70, 80 to go. Like, but I've already gone 50. I don't want those to be for waste. Let me just keep going one more day. Let me keep going one more day. And then you start stacking days, and all of a sudden you forgot that it's been 600 days. It's been 1,000 days. Like I right now do every weekday, a podcast. It's a 5 to 7 minute video of me talking. It's a podcast. Today was episode 1,142. That's over 4 years now of a weekday. I didn't start understanding how far I'd go. I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I go, well, I've already done 1,141. I might as well do 1,142, and you just build. And the idea is for all of us, the dark work is this thing that you settle into embracing the work of it, loving the grit of it, loving yourself for having done it, and the rest takes place. So yes, you're not going to start the process going, I got this. I'm on board. You're going to start the process going, let me just see how today goes. And you're going to have a battle today. But here's the thing. At day 29, 290, 2090, you 100% are going to have a moment where you go, I am done. I do not want to do this. It's not getting the thing I want. I don't want to do it. Every part of you wants to give up. And then what you do is you force yourself to go. And then you do. Or you have accountability people that move you and you go, hey, all right, let me get it done. And you do it. And then guess what? On day, let's say 30 or day 2030 or day, like that next day, you wake up and go, oh my gosh, like I'm a killer. It's a different sense because you overcame the weaker version of your identity that all it was doing was trying to keep you in the small space. Because that's what I think it is. That whole idea of like there's a good wolf and a bad wolf. I think that there's also a weaker identity and a stronger identity. We have a connection intimately to the weaker identity of us. It's the one that wants to stay small and stay in bed and make it easy. It taps into the fleshly desires. It taps into the ease. Take a break. Look, it's okay to be out of shape. It's okay to eat crappy food. Who cares if you're unhealthy? We're all doing it, right? That's the mentality, and it's the easy piece. But you and all of us know, like, I don't like that person. That one it doesn't get what it wants. It has to poke other people and say that they're bad when they have things we want. A great marriage, a great body, great material things, a great business. At the end of the day, you want that, but you have to downplay it because you're stuck here playing small. It's the weaker identity winning. Whereas I go on that next day when the weaker identity tried to take me down and it didn't, and I won, it uplifts me like tenfold. I look forward to those days. I hate them in the middle of it because I'm like, no one's going to know if I don't do this. I don't want to do it, but I do it. And I go, I know. And then I wake up the next day and I am elevated to a whole new level. And that's why people win. And it's not because they have different skill sets. It's not because they have different extra muscles or they grew up in a certain environment. No. It's because on those hard days, they just moved past it. And there's a lot that goes into planning those structures and trusting the process, a lot more outside of it. But you have to actually run into days where you are battling that weaker part of you. And it is like, I'm talking ripping at your soul to do nothing, but you just stay in the pocket. And those who stay in the pocket win.
That's so good. Something that my audience deal with a lot when it comes to going for their goals is the fear of judgment, other people's opinions.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen.
Fitting in. Because often also what happens when you start developing, then you suddenly can't relate to your old friend group anymore either.
No, you can't. It's okay.
Do you have advice for someone who's just extremely fearful of taking action on this because the people around them will judge them?
Yeah, I mean, that was my world too. I have a lot of, like, my wife and my kids, like, they get it. There's a good chunk of time where my best friend and my wife both were like, hey, speaking isn't a real career. Do something else with your life. This is just weird. And I realized that at the end of the day, it's not even, there's a thought of like, it's just them saying something because they can't see themselves do it. And I go, that's totally cool. And there's a piece of that. But the thing for me is I go, well, if I don't want to wake up in a year in the light that you're living, I'm not listening to you. There is definitively, there's logic and there's emotion, right? The logic is, well, the majority of people are unhappy in life. So if I listen to the majority of people, I'm going to lead to unhappy situations in life. So therefore, I can't listen to you. It doesn't make a logical sense. Other part of it is emotionally, I go, well, I was given this perspective, this view, this possibility, this thought. And every person who's successful has the exact same story. Someone else told them it wasn't going to happen. Couldn't be done. Everybody, to a T. Everyone who's successful I've ever met, there's somebody at some point that even graciously was like, you shouldn't do that. So I go, all right, that's par for the course. And then I go, well, what did you do in the moment? They go, I just did. I listened to the voice in my head that said it's possible. or I listened or noticed the fact that if somebody else could do it, well, then obviously I could do it also. And so when you have them, you don't do it. Like, I'm not a big fan of like, I'm going to do it because you said I couldn't do it. I don't care about you in a sense, because if I listen to that, then what's my energy when you say good job? Do I lose my drive because I don't have something pushing me? So I go, it's not a build up or a tear down. It's like, I'm glad, I appreciate your perspective, but I'm not doing this because you believe I can or can't. I'm doing it because I believe I'm supposed to. And so I just chase it. I don't do it to make you feel bad. I don't do it to say, look what I've done and spit in your face. I just do it because if I'm to wake up at the end of my life on my deathbed and look back on these days, I do not want to have a single regret for having not chased a dream that was possible. That's my thing. I don't want future Anthony to look at me and go, what did you do? How'd you waste those gifts? Why'd you let that dream die, man? What was, And so for me, it's like, yeah, there's gonna be people in my vicinity that don't believe in me, but I can actively chase my dream without being disrespectful to them. And in the long run, when you do finally prove like you're real, then you get that added thing and it's a good benefit. But I just like looking at me going, man, I believe in you. I trust you. I love you. I think that is the thing that's been removed so much from our society now more than ever, is the ability for people to do hard things and love themselves because of it. Everything has been stripped away and ripped down and torn down of the difficulty of what that does for you. Like, I think we have a huge, the mental health crisis we talk about. I think it's just a mental weakness. And it's not because people are weak people, but it's because they haven't been in the weight room of life to build the mental strength they need to feel confident, capable, and have self-esteem. Because like, if you look at kids, like when they're trying to like tie their shoes or trying to like, build something, they'll get frustrated and throw things, but you just keep making them do it. And all of a sudden they do it. Their face lights up. They are beaming with pride. Like my son, just this last weekend, he's 15 years old, and we were chopping wood to go camping. And he was like, just with his buddies, and the chainsaw they were using broke. It's like electric chainsaw. So I went out and fixed it, and they broke it again. I didn't know this though. And he comes in and he goes, Dad, I fixed a chainsaw, man. Like, it's not a big deal. It's like, yeah, that was no big deal. But for him, it's like, I did this thing that I didn't know if I could or not. Yeah. And we as individuals are robbing ourselves of this power every day. And so, yes, you do have this sense of I'm weak and I can't do anything because you have no proof. And the only way you get proof is by doing the thing and subjecting yourself to the difficulty. And so it's a necessity. I think the world's missing it heavily. And if I could give anybody the gift, it's the gift of point yourself in a direction and stay in the course, especially past the hard point.
I love that. And I am such a big believer of doing something challenging every day. That's also why before we started recording, I started sharing that I do these sprints because you and your wife are about to go on a trip for running. And I believe that when you get that discomfort every single day, it builds up this resilience. For someone who, they have this goal and they want to start challenging themselves in this way, like, because I often find when we have a goal, like writing a book or speaking, becoming a motivational speaker, all these incredible things that you've done with your life, it feels so big. And it's almost like, huge. Yes, I want to do this, but because I don't have a step-by-step plan, it almost feels too big. And how can someone, how can we break it down to them? Do you have any structure to break down the actual action steps on how they can get started?
Well, first off, you shouldn't go the route of trying to do it all yourself. I think it's naive. Like, there's things that I know how to do and I do well. And there's two ways I got there. One was I asked questions, and two, I did what they gave me as answers. Like, that's the thing. There's nothing for the most part that's going to be done in our world that hasn't already been done by somebody. Yes, you take going to the moon and stuff, but statistically, the majority of people are trying to recreate somebody else's success in some manner, right? The business they built, the company they did, the body they have. Like, that's what we follow and pay attention to stuff. And so twofold. One is I have to, as a person, I'm saying all of us, we have to get out of the perspective that if I get access to information, I get the result. That is not the case. The access to information is simply what you need to know to start. That's it. Just what you need to know to start. I could sit here for hours and explain to you the different steps and processes. You will not fully get the idea or understand it till you get in motion. So like if I tell you how to swing a baseball bat to hit a home run, we can sit here all day. I can break down different stuff. I don't know how to do that, by the way. But if I was to break that down, you'd go like, oh, okay, I get it. It's not going to mean anything to start swinging the bat. And then what's going to happen is the swinging of the bat is going to inform you tenfold more than I could ever sit here and explain to you for your brain to get, because we don't just learn through the words. There's a visceral connection we have to be part of. Every muscle has to move, has to wire. Like, our brains are actually wired a certain way. Like, that's where your identity lives. It's neurologically and psychologically, and it's based on experience of what you've gone through, not what you thought. What have you physically experienced, right? So when you start something, you should go, hey, I want to be a speaker. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer, all right? Whatever it is. You're going to get into a position of information. And you should get the information, but then you should be as fast as you can open to taking the action on it. Because now what happens is now you're learning viscerally what you're supposed to learn. You get to get in conversations. You get to speak on a stage and feel what it feels like. You won't intimately know until you're doing it. And so it's a big process. But the idea is you eat an elephant one bite at a time. You shouldn't go out there and go, let me eat the elephant today. No, it's fall in love with the process, right? The daily grind. And so what you can find is someone usually has broken down what you're supposed to do. Like, we have a dark work experience process we coach people through. And to be honest, the work we do of, like, we'll call it video work, is 8 videos. It's just 8 simple videos. And then there's 8 coaching calls. And the reason is because in that beginning, we're doing what's called designing your dark. Because I believe that what you need to learn, life's going to teach you. I just need to get you in motion with life. Trust in the process, understanding where you're headed to, having broken down the different things you're going to subject yourself to. But there's no way I could sit here, me and you, and talk and change your life with just words. I need you to go out and live life and do things, to try this thing, to feel the pain of failure, to feel the joy of success. And so for me, it's really thinking about, I need you to subject yourself to this moment, because what happens is the more you tackle that is small but feels big, the less the big thing feels big. It feels smaller, right? So if I go, hey, this small thing that I know is small and you don't know it's small, but it's hard, you do it and go, oh, I can do that, right? All these bigger things, they get smaller to you because you're like, well, I've done this and it was hard. Okay, I've done this and it was hard. I've done this and it was hard. And now all of a sudden you got people that'll take on the world. Well, why? Because they've taken on small things little by little, and they borrow that confidence, they borrow the success, they borrow the proof and apply it to something new and go, I got that. Right? It's something you have to actually step into and earn. So prior to those moments, yes, these people, they should go, this is hard. It looks big. There's a lot going on. 100%. I guarantee 100%. Yes. But think about this. You don't have to do it all today. Just the first piece of it. And it will feel difficult and small, difficult and big, because it's not what you're used to doing. But then you do it. Then you become the kind of person who does that thing. And then the next thing shows up and the next thing shows up. What's interesting is it becomes this thing where you're giving effort, but it actually starts to feel effortless because it's just normal. I'm not battling my weaker identity. I'm not struggling. And I have a confidence I can go do this. And in fact, it goes from being scared to being joyful. Like I love the idea of trying something that challenges me and is new. Because for me, it's not within my typical norm, and I know what I'm capable of when I actually apply because I have proof of me doing this. So I will face things that should 100% make my butt pucker out of fear. But I go, well, I'm probably likely not going to die. And when I navigate this, imagine having this new thing on my arsenal. Let's rock, right? I'm in this space right now if I hop on stage and I speak. But I have another side of my companies where I need to be able to sell things, right? And sales is a great gift because if you do it right, you get to shortcut people's pain. They have this thing they want. I can help you here. Let me close the gap for you. But I got to let you be clear and understand, like, I can help you. That is different than speaking motivationally. I have the talent and skill set of speaking, but the content and the cadence and the understanding of what the psychology is, that's vastly different. So I'm in a position now of going, I have to learn a new skill with my current skill. And it's difficult. It's not normal. It's out of the bounds of my, base of understanding what I've done for years. And so for me, I am in the space of like, I suck at this. Like I did a webinar today, by the way. I think we had 1 call booked. Think about that. Like I go in the world and I do a lot of big things and I teach and I share and we do this whole program and you'd think like, oh, it's killing it. And there's other areas I 100% kill, but I wanted to try something new today. So I tried something new. We had, I think it was like 40 people come on or something. One person simply not bought something, just booked a call. Right?
Yeah.
And so I can sit back and go, I was a failure. Probably shouldn't tell anybody that, right? But I go, no. I got one person. What was unique about that? What fit for that person? What did they like to hear? And I can find that out and go, okay, great. What did I do wrong? Okay, I did this wrong and this wrong. All right, cool. I now know what to do next time to maybe get 2 and maybe get 10, but it's the only way to get to 20. I can't skip this piece. And everybody wants to skip this piece because they don't want to look stupid or they want to be embarrassed. That's par for the course. And to be honest, who's embarrassed? Like people who really get it, they're like, hey, well done. Hey, good job. You got one? Hey, well done. They get it. It's always the people who aren't at your level that want to go, look, it's a waste of time because it validates them sitting in their small space. It makes them feel comfortable going, oh, shoot, he didn't do well? Okay, yeah. It's okay. I'm going to stay back here. I'm not that bad off. Whereas the people up top go, hey, great, took the first step. Next one's going to be ugly too. Next one's going to be even uglier. You might have a big ugly one, but guess what? That's the way you get to the top of the mountain. And so for me, I understand what the mountain process looks like. So I'm like, let's get these ugly reps as out of the way as fast as I can. But I have to try something that is not normal to me. But I have joy around that because I realize that my humanity has shown me over the other areas I've done things that this is just a part of the process. I will be successful. Not I might, I will, but it's because I am open to the dark work of it all.
I love that reminder because hearing someone like you who's gained so much success in so many areas of your life, still challenging yourself and pushing yourself to go through those annoying reps at first, but that you're sharing are actually beautiful reps because you need to go through them to get to any new level in any area of life. And I feel in my life, my lazy brain part of me, I've gained success within certain areas. And then when I think of this other new thing I want to do, it can be very easy for my lazy brain to convince me that no, that's not a good idea. But really what that comes from is the fact that it doesn't want me to look bad in this new thing. But it's so important. It's such an awesome reminder. I remember when you spoke at Growth Day LA that you didn't even have a script coming out. You were just speaking. Yeah. Were you once going on stage being nervous in the same way, having those ugly reps? Yeah?
Yeah. Well, what you don't see is, okay, so before I started doing these daily podcasts, it's 1,142. If you break it down, it's a little over 4 years of doing it. Prior to that, I did a nightly 90-second video for 1,333 days, which is another like 3.65 years. I have about 8 years of like every day, if not every weekday, practice that nobody sees. Like that, I mean, some obviously see it, but you don't notice it. So people go like, gosh, he's just skilled. No, I'm just practiced. Reps and the years pass. 8 years have passed without, it's like a blink of an eye. It's crazy. But that's why I can go up on that stage because I go, all right, if I have any kind of guide, if I know what the process is going to be, you can be 3 points. I have told so many stories, practiced so much in storytelling skills, been on stage so many times, like had I've done so much of this because I subjected myself to the difficulty of it. Now it looks effortless. And now it does. Like it's the thing of the person that gets behind a wheel of like a car and they can just drift and turn and go crazy. What you don't see is all the cars they wrecked, the tires they popped, the walls they hit. But they did to get to that beautiful skill set. But they were just willing to keep going. They got back in the car. Like I got back on the stage. I keep getting in front of the camera. I keep getting on the microphone. The thing is, there's nothing unique about it. That's the thing. There's nothing special about what I did. The special is the fact that I've done it longer. That's it. That really is the age-old thing that people talk about, the 10,000-hour rule, but nobody wants that. It's immediate gratification. It's how do I get this right now? And it's like, that's why the dark work is to go back to the sexiness of the grind, man. Make that appealing. Like, why can't we fall back in love with the idea that I want to challenge myself, fall on my face, get back up and go, hey, at least you tried, man. Let's keep going, right? And have that. Like when you watch a kid run around, they're doing something, they trip and fall, and they go down like, oh, and they get back up and keep running again, right? It's like, what if they just sat in the ground for the rest of their life? That'd be crazy. That's how people live their lives now. Or they're so afraid of falling and staying down, they never get running in the first place. The only thing special about me is that in the moment when most would quit, I just have not. And that has afforded me the ability to learn skills that they'll never learn, to get relationships they'll never build, to have success they'll never have, to get to the point of looking like it's effortless. Everybody hears this, but I don't even know the perfect secret to make them do this. Like, I know that when we work with people, it's an accountability piece. We structure and walk them through, but there's a certain point that it just switches over, which I believe is a complete rewiring of like your neurological pathways, the way your psychology functions and sees things. at a certain point, you do it so much that it re-ingrains like the way your actual synapses fire. So what used to shut you down lights you up, but you have to go to a point well beyond what you think it is. And what happens is one day you'll just snap out of it and go, holy, wow, I'm completely different than I was a year ago. And you'll know, because if you try to go back into the headspace of who you used to be a year ago, it feels uncomfortable. It's like, I used to say that. I used to do that. Like, what was I thinking? What did I used to, like, you almost are disgusted with who you used to be, right?
Yeah.
The only way you get there is by just submitting to it. Like my coach in college used to say, it's like a heavyweight boxing match, right? It's at some point, like you're alert and you get into round one, you're getting in the, and it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, I'm going to fight. Like, this is right. And then you're tired and you're still focused. By like round three, you're gassed and you're like, just white towel. It's like, you just like, what do you do? All you know is like, just stay in. And at a certain point, he's like, you put your head down and you just keep swinging. And he's like, and then what happens is the rounds start to blend and it floats. And all of a sudden you pop up 12th round and you knock the person out. And it all comes like a flash. It's like, wow, like I'm here now. And that's how I think life is also. Like, you get into the fight going, I want to build this business. I want to launch this podcast. I want to fix this marriage. I want to, get a better promotion of my job. And it is the first, like, you know what you're doing, you get in, it's like, holy crap, this is hard. Like, you're breathing heavy and you're tired and like, you don't want to do it. You want to step out of the ring and, and quit, but then you put your head down and you start swinging. And you don't pay attention to how many swings, how many punches, how many blocks, how many rounds. You're just here. And then at some point you pop your head up and it's like, I've got to the end rounds. I'm here. And maybe that person quits, right? But the idea is most people won't put their head down and swing anymore. They get in, they get hit once, and it's like, oh, that's hard. And they bail out and they make a really good excuse to get out of the fight. Oh, my elbow, I had an ankle issue. It's like, no, you quit. You could butter up however you want, but you quit. And while some may be a valid reason for quitting, it still is the fact that you quit. It's just the reality. I don't care how good the excuse is. It could be a completely valid excuse. It stopped you from getting where you wanted to go. Some hills are bigger to climb than others. I get that, but it still stops you. So for me, I go, you have to be prepared to put your head down and go to work and go to extra rounds, because it takes what it takes, not what you want to give.
Yeah. I want to go into the deep work declaration and explain what that is, if you'd help us do that. But I just quickly before want to ask you, the dark work, does it have to be dark? I have a life coach and I was sharing with him that I've gone into this dark work and he thought of it as something that wasn't pleasant, but I actually found it very fulfilling because of the wording, dark work.
It's supposed to be, though.
It's so fulfilling. And I just want to make sure that the audience gets that it doesn't have to be miserable. It actually is way more fulfilling than anything else you could do, because it's moving you towards what you deep down want in life.
Yeah. We'll do this. I think dark work essentially is away from the lights of the world, is essentially it. It's not, hey, world, look what I'm doing all day. It could be, you could have clients and colleagues you work with. It could be people behind the scenes, but it's not prominent on the world stage just yet. Some of the dark work is posting every day, but behind the scenes, what are you doing to put great content out, right? It also could be dark work on your meditation routine, right? It doesn't have to be gritty, but I will ask you this question. What's something you're incredibly proud of in your life right now?
This dark work that I've put in. As in not giving up.
The dark work. What's an accomplishment you've accomplished that you're proud of? It like you look at it and go, gosh, I got that done. I got there, and you're proud of that moment.
I mean, everything that I've built in my career so far, and that I love my daily routine of meditating and journaling and loving on myself, doing it from a place of love.
You have a life where you've arrived in a place where you have a day you love, right?
Yeah.
Some people don't have that. A lot of people don't have a day that they can't just wake up and do what they want. Was it easy to get that?
No.
Right. So the way I've always looked at this dark work, because shadow work is what you do to find out what's in the shadows. Dark work is what you do once you know. And I've noticed that the things that make people the most proud are the things that have made them borderline give up, have gotten to the point of complete, like broken them down. And then you build back out. And the building back out is the gift. It is arduous. It does suck. It is ugly. It's not every day ugly, but the majority of those moments suck. And for me, I go, every time I look at something in my life that I'm proud of, the way my relationship is with my kids, the business I've built, my marriage being back intact, my personal body, the business I have. These things are what give me the most sense of pride. And every one of them came on the backside of soul draining effort, like gritty, persistent, consistent work. And honestly, the harder it was, the more pride I have that I succeeded.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that it always has to be difficult and ugly, but if I know the thing that makes me most proud of myself now was the thing that challenged me the most, why would I avoid that? Why would I avoid the thing that is the hardship? If I know my dream says this and it's hard, we as a people, I think, need to stop skirting around or trying to find a way to make it easier and realize that I have to just go. I think there's this language that says the only way is through, which is there's a beauty in that. I think Under Armour has that, right? And it's not to say that you can't have moments and days. Like, it's hard to be on at grit all day. You will break down. I think there is a level where you can just break yourself. I've been there. I get it. But the majority of my days where I look at what I'm proud of, it's like that stuff all came on the backside. I wouldn't remove a single bit of my hardship. My childhood sucked. Like, a lot of people just have not gotten out of that place. That's why statistically I should be in prison. I should be a bad father. I should be possibly dead, right? All these things that statistically should be there broke, but I have the opposite. And I am so proud of the life I have, the gratitude I have for my life. And it's because of how hard it was to come out of that place, because of how hard it was to re-ingrain how I feel about people and trust and patience and God and joy. Like, these things, man, I at one point didn't want to live. Like, I've been to the backside, but because I went there and I traversed it, that's why I'm proud of me. That's why I can show up how I do. And for everybody that's out there, when they're looking at the life, like, if you get the logic of the harder thing gave me more pride, why would you avoid the great pride? Because you can't do something easy and have great pride. It doesn't work that way. Like, you can't just go, this was super easy. Oh, look at that. I'm so proud of that. Like, it was the painting that took hours to create and the skill to develop. It's the time you spent counting your calories to get that body you want. It's the practice you did to get that great, grade in the school, whatever it was. It's that thing you did. And when you connect to it, it wells you up because you know what you did and you love yourself for it. And I think that's what the missing piece is for a lot of folks. And so it's in my opinion, the removal of the seeking of the ease. And it's actually embracing openly, like a warrior, like a dominator, this hard stuff you have to do to give yourself the gift of pride that no one else can give you.
That's so good. And it is so true. I love everything you just said. For someone who wants to make a dark work declaration, like you got us to do. Declaration. Sorry, I'm from Denmark, so sometimes my English is a little.
I forgot that we didn't talk about that. I went off on a tangent.
No, your tangent was great. I loved everything about it. For someone who wants to give that a try, and we'll get to how they can work with you on an even deeper level, to give them an idea how they could make one like that. How do you structure it?
So think about it this way. A declaration is something that you're declaring you're going to do. You're committed to doing this thing. And the declaration is something where you're going to go into a window of darkness. For us, we do it for 90 days. It could be 30 days, it could be 12 days, 14, whatever number you want, right? I just like that window of 90 days feels good for us. But what I do is I go, hey, I'm going to, at some point when I emerge from this window of time, I'm going to speak out loud these words on paper. It's a declaration. And the thing is, you have to commit to doing this. You cannot make an excuse to not do it. And you want to do it in a place that is public, that could be friends or family or social media, so they know it's coming, and so do you. So I ask myself, and I ask you to ask yourself, when that moment comes, do you want to be congruent with the words on the paper? And most of us, 100% will go, yeah, I don't want to say I did this and not. It would be crazy to go like, I did this and then go like, oh, I didn't actually do that, because you feel defeated. It's a bad feeling. So I go, all right. So write down what you want to be able to declare with confidence in 90 days. And it should be challenging. It should be difficult. And so what I do is I go, first off, when you exit this, what is it that you're going to say that you completed, got done, accomplished, completed? Then what can you commit to continuing to do after that? That's the kind of base piece. There's a lot more to it, but that's the foundation. And here's why. I want you to be able to go into that with a challenge to yourself that whatever you have to state, you're going to have to push past a lot of internal pain and frustration and difficulty. And you have to battle your own demons. You're going to have to put something on that paper that you borderline, like you said earlier, like, I don't know if I can do this. That's actually where it should start. Like, it feels, what I say is 1 inch out of control. Like, I'm not going to go in 90 days, I'm going to get a Grammy. Like, that's weird. Like, I've never done any music, right? But create something that feels like, it's like, this is going to be hard, but let me stretch that 1 inch out of my comfort zone. So it really makes me feel challenged. But here's the thing. It's supposed to challenge you. We talked about it. It's supposed to be difficult. If you find that thing that's just outside that realm of comfort and capability, and then you start leaning in, you'd be surprised at how life shows up to give you the lessons, and you streamline it faster than you actually thought. The thing you were worried about actually becomes less of a worry, because you're like, oh, I found that one piece that I didn't even know I was missing in life by going through the process. And then what happens, you go through the journey of just being consistent and being in flow. And then all of a sudden you are challenged. And on day 29, you go, I don't want to do this, but you do it. And then day 30, you feel like a superhero. And then when you get to that moment of declaration, you open that piece of paper and you read it out loud. There is a complete, overwhelming sense of joy and appreciation and power. You have a dominator inside of you now. This person that has governance and self-control over the weaker part of their identity. You start opening your mind to possibilities you never thought could be part of your realm of believability. Because you now can borrow from this person that you've shown up as to the next stage of your life. And so that declaration should be something that challenges you and pokes you. And then it's like, now that I'm this person, let me set my sights on something new. Because if you are a person that is a new battler, a new warrior, warriors go to battle. Like there's that movie 300, and is they're talking about like they run into a group. He goes, "Hey, what's your profession?" He goes, "I'm a gardener." "What do you do?" "I'm a blacksmith." And he goes, "Spartans, what is your profession?" They go, "Ahoo, ahoo." Like they're warriors, right? It's who you are. Warriors battle. Now, I'm not saying you got to be a warrior and beat people up in the streets, but I am saying you got to battle for the life you want. It's a fight out here. Like there's a spiritual battle for you. There's an emotional battle for you. There's a physical battle. There's these battles. But when you're a warrior, you like to fight. So we got to put you through this process that teaches you how to fight for you and for your dream and for the future of what you're supposed to be doing in your life. And so this declaration is a way to kickstart that and then live in a moment knowing I have got to stick to this because at some point I'm going to state it out loud and I want to make sure I'm congruent with my words.
And there's something about knowing that it's going to be hard and just accepting that. It's when we think it shouldn't be hard that it's so easy to give up because we think something's wrong. But if we just prepare ourselves for the fact that it's going to suck sometimes, then it's like, oh, I'm just in the sucky part right now. So I just got to show up. Yeah.
That's how it is.
I hope everyone listening is going to actually do this. And when we get off this call, I'm going to make another one because it's been a while since I did the one that after hearing you talk. I also hope that people want to dive deeper into your work. I have a final question for you, but if someone wants to work with you and learn more from you, connect with you, where can they find more information?
Darkwork.com. Straightforward. Is an assessment you can take that actually allows you to figure out what version of your identity you're operating in now. There's a dreamer, a dabbler, a defender, and a dominator. And so the idea is, where you're at and then know what the next step is for you to work towards. But yeah, it's the best way to do it. Or go to just check out Dark Work on Instagram. We actually are finally in the process of launching the full brand. We've been doing a lot of speeches, a lot of consulting, a lot of coaching behind the scenes, but we now have a team of coaches, which is going to be kind of branching it all out. So it's time to launch this full thing.
Incredible. I'll also link it all below so that everyone can check it out. This podcast is called Challenge Your Norm. And I like for my last question to be, whatever comes to you, first instinct, if you had to give everyone listening a challenge in a way that they can challenge their norm in some way, what would that be?
I would always challenge the voice of you that's choosing to avoid the pain. I have these discussions. I just had a call with my team a little bit ago. And I go, when it comes to people making decisions and choices, they don't grasp that they're actually stuck in a loop that's keeping them stuck in a place in life. And here's what it is. The brain is designed to adapt. That's it. It's not designed to optimize. It's designed to adapt to the situation at hand. It's a preemptive tool. It wants to know what's going on so it can adjust to it. But also, one of the base things, it's designed to keep you safe. So it looks at everything with the angle of, this is going to hurt me, and how do I avoid the pain? It doesn't actually focus on, this is going to be good for me. is how I optimize stuff. So why it's so much mental energy to schedule, to optimize something, right? Our brains, it's like, oh, I got to sit and think through this, right? Our brains aren't dialed in to do that. It's going, hey, how do I adapt to the situation? Which is why people find simple. That's why I think Elon Musk says, if you want to get something to be optimized, give it to a lazy person, because they're going to find the way to adapt to it simply that makes their brain have less stress. But also the idea is we have these parts of us that are looking at everything. Is it safe? Is it safe? Is it safe? And so we look at everything with that eyeball, the negative, it's going to go wrong. And so I say challenge the part of you by just waking up to the fact that your brain is doing something that doesn't serve your future best. That's why people don't invest money, because they think, oh, I'm spending. No, investment means it goes out so it can flow back. And the safe part of your brain goes, I have this. If I lose it, I get nothing. I go, no. If you keep it, it gets smaller. It's got to go out to where you can find what it needs. And then you show up in that moment and you can make this bigger, right? So it's also stepping out on faith, the ability to see that someone else has done it so I can. So that the norm that we have of just letting the brain do what it does and not questioning it and being a slave to the emotions, challenge that normal thought process. Because for me, this whole dark work is all about the idea that you have an emotion outside the norm and your brain's going to want to keep you safe by saying, don't try this, don't do this. You don't know that. It's what if it goes wrong? Yeah, but what if it goes right? And that's what happens when you step into something. It's you challenge the norm of the brain's natural processing, and you find that that's what every successful person has done. They don't listen to the we'll call it the basal instincts of the brain, which is avoid the pain and just make it easy. And it goes, no, the thing I want, it's going to take more, because if it didn't, everybody would have it. That logic is straight through, right? So it tells me that, all right, the majority of people's brains is adhering to this small, weak, adapting, scared brain. And I go, I'm not going to be like the norm. I'm going to challenge that by going, let me go towards something that actually scares me. But the thing is, the more I do it, the less scary it is.
So good. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you shared today. And I know the listeners, just like me, are feeling extremely inspired by everything that you shared. So grateful that you came on. And I know you're about to go on a trip with your wife. So I hope you guys have an incredible trip. And I hope everyone goes. Yeah, I hope everyone goes, checks out your work and gets to dive in deeper with you. Thank you for all the work that you do. It's
welcome.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it and feel as inspired as I do. I just wanted to mention that we are starting the April Transformation Challenge soon. So if you want to join us, get in the best shape of your life, or if you're listening to this podcast episode at a later date, we have other upcoming challenges coming up, and you can also join the membership anytime. If you enjoyed this podcast episode and you want to have many more conversations like this with me and with my incredible guests, I hope you want to hit that subscribe button. And if you found it useful and you think that you have a friend that could find it beneficial as well, it would mean the world to me if you would share it with them and help them out as well. I hope you go out and have a beautiful day. And as always, remember that in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm. Bye.